Alright, hey everybody, welcome to Oregon Politics Live, June 30th, 2026. We're going to talk about news articles highlighting issues facing Oregon, possible solutions and action steps. So kind of a short one today. Nearly every proposed Oregon initiative won't make it onto the November ballot. And initiative to open Oregon primaries may have stalled, but work to end election injustice continues. Alright, so the first one is the Oregon Capitol Chronicle. This is from yesterday. It says, only one citizen petition is on track for the November ballot, a drop from previous election cycles. Oregonians proposed nearly 90 changes to state law or the Oregon Constitution for the November 2026 ballot, and a dozen of those petitions with priorities ranging from ending mail voting to ensuring civil rights for women and LGBTQ plus people in the state constitution cleared an initial hurdle. But with the looming July 2nd deadline to submit tens of thousands of voter signatures that demonstrate support for their ideas, most of the petitions won't move forward. Organizers cited not having enough time, volunteers, and funding to see their petitions through. Only one petition is on track. A stark contrast from previous election cycles, which saw 5 ballot measures appear on the November 2024 ballot and 4 in 2022. Oregonians seeking to directly change state law or the Oregon Constitution first have to gather 1,000 signatures from voters, get the Attorney General to draft a ballot title and summary, and overcome any legal challenges to that title. To place a constitutional amendment on the ballot, petitioners then need more than 156,000 verified signatures from registered Oregon voters. To change the state law, petitioners need 117,000. So it's pretty challenging to get a petition on the ballot, and that's probably a good thing, needing so many signatures. It has to be manual signatures, not digital, so you have to do it person by person, and that's probably a good thing so people aren't constantly referring ballot initiatives on there. But it is pretty sad that the only one is kind of a weird one, as we'll find out. Initiative Petition 28, an effort led by Portland-based vegan advocates to ban harming or killing all animals with no exceptions, had submitted 138,000 signatures as of Wednesday. That's more than they need to qualify. Alright, petitioners are in their third attempt to place their petition on the ballot, and each time having attracted more supporters. Lead petitioner David Michelson told the Capitol Chronicle over the phone. This time they raised $300,000 in cash contributions and loans, according to state campaign finance records. 75% of the campaign signatures collectors are paid. And they pay 30 people a month to collect them. So this is their third attempt to get this weird petition on the ballot, which is basically you're not allowed to like fish and hunt anymore, which basically no one is in support of except apparently this guy. And so they're paying 30 people per month to collect signatures. And where is it coming from? 35,000 from a guy in Russia, 30,000 from Craigslist charitable fund, 25,000 from a Bitcoin investor, and 20,000 from PETA. They're all animal rights people. Okay. One group that reached the signature gathering process has officially withdrawn the petition. The Equal Rights for All Coalition in February withdrew its petition aiming to codify the right to abortion, same-sex marriage, contraception, and in vitro fertilization and gender-affirming care in Oregon. That's weird. I wonder why they did that. Yeah, about this guy, basically, like literally every elected official has come out and saying they don't support it, and it's probably going to get voted out 90-1. So, Equal Rights for All. Okay, let's keep reading, see if it gives us anything. No, it's not the right vehicle, even though they had effected to fall short of the signature threshold, but some already are looking ahead to future elections. Okay, that seems weird that you take the time to get all the signatures, but then not go through the ballot. That's pretty weird. Okay, I actually read that wrong. So it's saying only one group that reached the signature gathering process. So like, they got their ballot name approved, they got the language approved, and they've submitted. They have gathered some signatures, but they've withdrawn their petition. And the internet is saying basically it's because their pace was too slow to at the current rate to get enough signatures, and they're also running out of money, basically. So, all right. Bipartisan organizers hoping to open Oregon primaries through 2 ballot initiatives are postponing efforts until 2028. Former Republican state rep Cherry Helt of Bend, who is leading the effort alongside former Democratic Governor Ted Kolgongoski and independent part of Oregon co-chair Andrew Kaza blamed the delay on lengthy legal battles in the Supreme Court after the ballot title's wording. Okay. Multi-partisan effort aims to open Oregon's primaries through ballot initiative in 2028. Okay, we're going to talk more about that one later. Several petitioners said they would meet the signature threshold because they didn't have financial resources for wide-scale petition. Gathering all the signatures, it's not just non-trivial, it's a lot of work. We didn't raise much money, we didn't hire paid signature gatherers. We thought we could get enough momentum and traction while the emotional sense was there, the practical sense we didn't get there. The group Let Us Paddle formed in 2025 after the Oregon legislature passed a law expanding permitting requirements for non-motorized boats regardless of their length. That would mean kayaks, canoes, rafts, paddleboards. This is incredibly annoying. Like, why are you doing that, Oregon? Like, it's like you're ruining everyone's fun. Seriously, $20 a year. Like, come on, it's so messed up. Alright, so that's basically the rundown. So it looks like only one, the weird one about hunting and fishing being allowed, is going to make it. So I don't know. I don't think I have I would policy recommendation would just be like keep the status quo. I don't think it should be easy to put something on the ballot, and you can also always do it the old way, which is get your representatives to make the changes you want to see. So Rainmaker ranking, I don't think I'm going to get one. Initiative to open Oregon primaries may have stalled, but work to end election injustice continues. So this is a similar topic here. It's time to establish equal voting rights for non-affiliated voters, write leaders of an initiative petition who will now seek legislative help opening the primaries. Okay. Ted. Okay. Oregon statewide election last month exposed yet again the injustice of our partisan election system. Injustice is a strong word, but it's clearly an injustice to bar our largest group of voters, those who chose not to join a political party, from participating in our primary elections as candidates and voters. Last month's primary election, voters who were members of the Democrat or the Republican parties could write a check for $25 to become candidates for the legislature. 99 Democrats, 97 Republicans did just that. Yet non-affiliated voters are taxpayers too. They had no such options. They couldn't write checks of any amount to gain access to the primary ballot, nor could they make use of an alternative system to qualify as candidates by collecting signatures for the primary. They faced a closed door with no entry sign for non-affiliated voters interested in competing for our most important elected offices. Yeah. The major parties in Oregon are no longer major. In 1970, 98% of Oregon's registered voters were members of the Democrat or Republican parties. Today, only 32% of registered voters in Oregon are Democrats, 24% are Republican. They can't say, as they said decades ago, that the choices their members make to put two names on the leaderboard in our general elections represent the choices of the voters overall, but Democratic and Republican Party leaders like it this way, as their close primaries allow them to maintain control over election choices in spite of their diminishing numbers. There's nothing in the Oregon Constitution that favors this process. It's a creation of the legislature, but all members of the legislature are members of the major parties that benefit from this system and have little incentive to change it, unless the voters demand they change it. It's true. It's the fact that less than a third of people are Democrats and less than a quarter are Republicans. So you're getting less than half of slightly more than half of people are allowed to choose the two candidates that show up on the general ballot. So it is pretty unfair. And yes, the legislature doesn't have any incentive to change the system because they're all playing within it currently. We filed an initiative last year to take to the voters a proposal to open up Oregon primary system. Our Voter Fairness Act would have established equal voting rights for non-affiliated voters to select two nominees from a field of non-affiliated Democratic and Republican candidates for the general election, while leaving major parties free to conduct their own nominations at their expense as they do now. Unfortunately, the proposal came embroiled in partisan wrangling over the ballot title that obscured its major purpose. With a misleading ballot caption and little time to collect the signatures needed to qualify for the November election, we decided to halt our effort for the 2026 ballot. Yeah, I went back and looked at this, and to me, the ballot title that the Secretary of State chose, or was the Attorney General, didn't seem so bad to me. To me, it seemed pretty fair. They just didn't like that it wasn't phrased like in a pro their proposal. So yeah, they didn't need to challenge the wording if they wanted to get to collecting signatures, but they decided not to. And until you have the approved language, you can't start collecting signatures, as I don't think you can. And so yeah, they should have started earlier. They should have started earlier. Okay, but we are going back to the drawing board. Establish equal rights for non-affiliated voters in all our taxpayer-funded elections. That's good. We will encourage our legislature to take up this matter in the 2027 session, and if necessary, we'll look to ballot again in 2028. Otherwise, Oregon will continue to conduct our elections for the most important public offices the way we did last month, unjustly excluding a large group of voters from full participation in our democracy. Yeah, whether or not they had the right strategy is like they should have started earlier. They didn't need to get in the lawsuit around the titles. I do think it's a good idea to get rid of the closed primary system. I think it's stupid. So I would support this, and I'm not optimistic the legislature will do anything about it in 2027. So in reality, they should start the ballot process now for 2028, so they don't run out of time like they did this time, and get working. But both of these articles sort of highlight the situation when it comes to ballot measures. Ideally, our elected representatives would represent us well, but oftentimes they don't, or they're playing within a system that the incentives aren't there for them to change it up, like this proposal is recommending. Yeah, so they should just start it earlier would be my guess. Recommendation. I support open primaries, and I think it would be good. I think it would be great to do that, to get out of this closed primary system. And that's about all I have for today. Until next time, take care. Bye.